Hello all, Old Geek here, and continuing with my old magazine series, where I'm taking looks at old White Dwarf magazines and old Dragon magazines from that late 70s era. Well, we'll see how long the series goes on for. I've done the Carcass Crawler for more recent magazines, but this is the Dragon, and this is issue 11, volume 2, number 5, December 1977, I think. And here we have the cover art, and it is a splash of colour, this image, so we have a little look at it. Big splash of colour, and it's not the greatest quality of image, but it is a little intriguing because it has me wondering exactly what this little figure in brown robes is saying to these people on the cart. What's that creature that's pulling the cart, and what's this creature that's shackled? Is he threatening to set the creature on them? I don't know. All I do know from this picture is this guard is going to be next to useless with that three-headed flail. Very, very ineffectual weapon. Yeah. You're not going to protect that wagon with that thing. Sorry. Anyway, let's have a little look. New releases in the 25mm fantasy figures range. And I do like this Orcus one. That's quite good. Demogorgon. Looking a lot like his Monster Manual counterpart. Monster Manual image. I do wonder if that could possibly be based on the Monster Manual picture. Dunno. Type 5 Demon looks really good as well. Really like that good old Marilith. Type 6 needs to be bigger, more Balroggy, because the Type 6 Demon was, of course, a complete rip-off of the Balrog. But no, apart from that, yeah, Orcus looks great. Type 5 Demon looks great. Demogorgon, yeah. The others, not so. But it's still early days, isn't it? How much are games costing now? Dungeons and Dragons basic package, beginner's guide booklet, monster and treasure assortment, set of polyhedral dice. Will that be the Holmes edition, 1977? Should be, shouldn't it? For $9.95. How does that compare with the original prices? Feels like it's gone up a little, but that could just be my memory being fuzzy. I'll have a look. What on earth is chivalry? Typo. It's chivalry. There. If you saw that on there, chivalry is what it should be. And sorcery, not chivalry. Yeah. Not clever. Okay, let's see what's here. It's with the greatest personal pleasure that I welcome the distinguished Fritz Leiber to the pages of the Dragon. Sea Magic, beginning on page 17, is the next story in the Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser cycle, following the latest book, Swords and Ice Magic. Oh, then you know how if you follow my series, I don't read the fiction. At all. Might have to read this one. When I was in my early teens, I think I read most of the Fafhrd and Grey Mouser books. I do remember bits and pieces. It was a long time ago. Nearly 40 years ago. But hey ho, I remember enjoying them back then. Anyway, what else have we got? Let's just plough in. Let's just plough in and see what we see. View from the telescope, wondering which end is which, by E. Gary Gygax. It is not uncommon to read tirades in amateur press association magazines and semi-irate letters in the letter columns of small journals berating TSR in general and, at times anyway, me in particular. For uncharitable, to phrase it politely, attitudes regarding use of our copyrighted material by others. Oh, copyright palavers. They don't go away, do they? Ever present, ever present. Look, TSR didn't have a great reputation regarding its approach towards third-party creators. I know that for a fact. They were very litigious, and I think that was a mistake. I know you got D&D adventures which had to have things like armor class and hit points renamed in them, in the likes of Judges Guild and Roll Aids and White Dwarf magazines and things like that. And surely it's in a game's best interest to get people writing for it. Look, by 83, 84, certainly in TSR USA, most of the good writers, those who produced those classic early adventures, and then in 1985 Gygax himself, most of them had departed. And the standard of module writing, manual writing, and so on, as the 80s went on, dropped hugely. There were a few exceptions, but the overall standard dropped hugely. And would it not have been better to embrace those creative types who were producing stuff for other publications rather than just stamp on them? I don't know. Certainly, one of the few things that Wizards of the Coast did right was it was introducing that OGL in the 3rd edition days, which basically allowed people to write for the system and rebuilt D&D as a brand. And yeah, I don't like 3rd edition, and I know they ballsed up 4th edition, and 5th edition certainly was very popular, but it's gone down a route I'm not particularly happy with. I'll still say to this day that low level 5th edition, played with just the core books, is fine. It's fine. It doesn't do everything I want, but it's fine. But the game does fall apart at higher levels, and with so many option books coming out, it's happened in every version of D&D, to be honest. And of course, Wizards of the Coast's actions towards the OGL in the last 12 months hasn't exactly been whiter than white, has it? But the OGL was what reignited D&D. And I do believe that certainly in the late 2nd edition days, when TSR was really, really struggling, having something like that there could well have helped. But anyhow, I'm gonna come back and read this because I want to see his attitude towards it, because I'm wondering if he's just got his blinkers on. I do wonder if he's just got his blinkers on, because we know they didn't make a lot of good choices in terms of people in charge. So yeah, let's just see, with the benefit of hindsight, whether he had a clear view of the future and whether what he's saying here came back to bite him or not. Of course, we've got hindsight, haven't we? We've got the benefit of hindsight, but we shall see. So I'll come back and read that another time. Definitely. Brawling, the easy way out in D&D. How many role-playing games have got a good brawling system? I'll sit here and I'll wait. Anyone with any ideas? Not very many, are there? There's not very many. And D&D certainly is amongst the ones that have tried it and failed. I don't mind the Unearthed Arcana variant of brawling, though it's better than the Dungeon Master's Guide. And if you look at the first paragraph here, brawling in Dungeons & Dragons has always been left up to the respective referee to determine. In my games, it still is. I just make it up as I go along. I understand the game mechanics and the various little game subsystems, and you can do brawling through hit rolls. You can do brawling through ability checks, whether you use a d20 or 3d6, or you could use 4d6, 5d6. I mean, that's how we do some ability checks in OSE, in our OSE game. It's great. If it's a hard check, you've got to roll your stat or lower on 5d6. That's a good way of doing it. And you could do brawling in a similar way. You could have a strength check versus a dex check, depending on what they're doing, depending on what the players describe. I mean, you're punching and dodging out the way. Grabbing, it might be strength versus strength. If you're trying to throw somebody, it could be strength plus dex average. It all depends what you're trying to do. But you can do that sort of thing quite easily without having convoluted rules. And yes, the AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide brawling rules were convoluted. Second editions weren't that great either. They were a little simplistic. Not particularly impressed by them. I have used them, but not particularly impressed. But I like the fact that this is all on one page, and if you look, it looks like the rolls are 2d6, which is a good thing. One of the best things about basic D&D, one thing I really like about basic D&D is that simplicity, that simple resolution, reaction rolls, morale checks, turning undead, all done on 2d6. It's so easy. It's not as swingy as using a single d20. So it feels, to me, it feels a better way of doing it. I like that 2d6. So this might be worth a little bit of a read, because it looks simple. It looks simpler. So, but you do wonder why they didn't adopt it. Maybe it wasn't so good. I don't mind that little bit of artwork though. That's quite good. Someone's been bopped in the face with a nice left hook across the chops. Right, how do you stop that thing defending against the ogre? Oh right, okay. It's about the game Ogre, the Steve Jackson strategy game. I don't know anything about it, never played it, so I'm just going to skip forward. If you like Ogre, you might want to read that. Oh, Design Forum. The Play's the Thing by Thomas Fillmore. The dreamer's art, the ability to cut loose from the restraints of reality and touch new shores and lives, is the essence and lure of D&D. It is the challenge of pitting one's skills and common sense against a strange and sometimes hostile universe. Sometimes hostile. Usually hostile. Where death awaits with open arms. Numerous times have we died. yeah, my character died on Saturday. Those of us who love the game only to rise again to battle as a new character. As our character grows in experience and memories, so does his depth of personality, becoming more individualistic and unique. Yes. A character should be pretty much a blank slate to start with. A few lines of background maybe, just to give an idea of why they're out there adventuring. Is there do they owe someone money? Just on one line. There's no need for a big pages and pages of fan fiction, just one line. Owes so-and-so money, wants to pay it back. That's why he's adventuring. That's enough. There you go. And that's mainly for player reference. And all the main personality traits, I think, should come through the experiences of the party and play. I like to start off naive, inexperienced, and then if the character survives, how do they survive? What do they encounter along the way? What fears do they develop? What likings do they develop? You can make it feel really organic that way, rather than having everything all planned out to start with, or having just empty stats. You've got to find that balance in the middle, that balance in the middle where your character can grow. As a player defines his character's desires, his hopes and fears, weaknesses and vices, his commitment to him becomes deeper, and this investment leads the player to more dangerous but satisfying exploits. Absolutely correct. Much is missed by those who play their characters always with the same personality, never trying on new faces or actions. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. A little bit of background, just a couple of lines. Bring a bit of personality to the table. Off you go. Have fun. Have fun. Advert for Archive Miniatures. Games Workshop. 1983, I went to my first Games Workshop in Birmingham. Seal of the Imperium by M.A.R. Barker. It's Empire of the Petal Throne. Okay. I now know about Empire of the Petal Throne, but I never saw it. Never saw it in print. It had gone, I think, by the time I was buying D&D stuff, any role-playing game stuff. So I've never seen it. I mean, if any of you played it, tell me about it in the comments. Just say you played it. Good, bad, indifferent. Why did it fail? I mean, I assume it did fail because it disappeared. I mean, so what happened? Was D&D just more popular? Netherworld, what's this? Very, very hard to read. Really, really tiny print. Oh, it's a geomorphic type things. I don't like playing with geomorphs. No. Don't like dungeons being laid out in front of me when I'm playing. I prefer Theatre of the Mind or just sketching maps, or a dry whiteboard is sketch on a whiteboard, just a little bit abstract. Don't want to be faffing about with grids. Not me. Not my thing. I get that it's other people's things, but it's not mine. Convention schedule 1978, Winter Fantasy, Lake Geneva, MITSCS, WinterCon, Cambridge, Massachusetts, the return of OrcCon, California State University, Winter War 5, Illinois, WarCon 4, Texas, Gen Con South, Jacksonville, Florida, Dundracon, Science Fiction, where's that? Leamington Hotel. Oh, there's a Leamington near me, but this isn't the same place because this is Oakland, California. TexCon, Austin, Texas. It's all America. That's to be expected. American magazine, and the origin of the hobby is America. So there you go. Snit Department from the Chronicles of Image the Rotund. Oh, this is that Snit's game that I lambasted last time. It all looked a bit silly for my liking, though some people did chime in and say that some of the games that were supplied with Dragon magazine were decent. So I'll give you that, but this Snits one just seemed a bit silly. I'm not into sort of all the daft language that's being used. So, but if you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it. So on and so on. Right, okay, here we go. From the Sorcerer's Scroll, greetings, my fellow D&Ders. This is a first both for me and you, namely a column regular, I hope, dealing with Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, well, we've had a year and a half of articles in Dragon magazine, which we're reading now, about Dungeons and Dragons, but the name, Robert J. Kuntz. Got to say that very carefully. Might get demonetised for saying his surname. The growing need for such a column has been long... Oh, it's okay, so it's a regular column. Well, it's a regular column. Oh, that's fair enough, rather than just articles. TSR's latest project to date is the Monster Manual. As I write this, the printers are having their difficulties with it, but it should be around shortly. Okay. This will be this company's greatest achievement since Empire of the Petal Throne, listing all monsters alphabetically. Oh. This, of course, was the first AD&D book, the Monster Manual. But the rules in it there are things in AD&D that aren't in the monster manual. You only get 5 alignments. Nothing has AC 10. So that monster manual has to work with OD&D, Homes D&D, and eventually AD&D. So, but a lot of people never noticed all of this. A lot of people never noticed. But good. I mean, my monster manual's up there. I love my monster manual. It was a great book. Really, really good book. One of the, it's just the classic monster assortment. Simple as that. Some good art in it as well. Don't let any of the modern lot tell you otherwise. Trampier's work in it, superb. Okay, so this is Sea Magic by Fritz Leiber. I've been told his name is pronounced Leiber. I would always said Lieber. E-I in English tends to be E, as in believe, deceive, E-I. Believe is I-E, isn't it? No, I'm trying to think of rain, R-E-I, so it could be Fritz Leiber. I'll stop there. I'll stop there. I've been told he pronounces it Leiber, so we'll go with that. And that's just something I might come back and read, because I'm not going to read it now on this run through, but I liked his books. I really did. Well, Partha, that's a name I recognise. New fantasy releases. Earth Demon. Undead. What sort of undead? Looks mummy-ish. Rooman. A kangaroo man, maybe. Weird. Weird. TS44. Rooman War Party. I don't know what Roomen are unless they're kangaroo people. Werebear. Are they imps and sprites and things like that? I like the little creatures. This is more of Fritz's stuff. Slightly ropey artwork. Don't know who did that. It ain't great. Quite a lot of Fritz's work. That piece of art's a little bit better, isn't it? That's a bit better. They're making the most of having Fritz Leiber on board. quite a long bit of fiction there. Wizards and Warriors by Grenadier. I'm guessing they know by now they're spelling wizards incorrectly. They're probably doing it on purpose to get your attention to look at the pictures. Fantasy Forge. Oh, look at all these double spread sort of big adverts. Hang on, this looks the same. These miniatures. Demogorgon, Marilith, Orcus. Quarterstaff fighting rules. Oh. Yes, in medieval England, the art of staff fighting was taken to its highest form. So, creating specific rules for specific weapons. This is the simulationist side of the hobby, isn't it? But are you going to do this for dueling swords, dueling axes, or someone fighting with a halberd and someone with a poleaxe, and so on? Yes, being English, I know that we were pretty good at staff fighting. It was our shtick. And the quarterstaff is a very effective weapon in the hands of somebody who's skilled with it, both offensively and defensively. But the game doesn't need separate rules for dueling with it. I don't think so. Yes, it's whole Robin Hood. Little John and Will Scarlet of Robin Hood's band. Because isn't that how Robin Hood met Little John? Didn't have a fight with a quarterstaff. Pretty sure that's what it was. Robin Hood. I've got stats for them all. Robin Hood, Little John, 18 everything. Will Scarlet, Will Stutely, Friar Tuck, Arthur of Bland, David of Doncaster, Wat of the Crabstaff. Not heard of him. Much the Miller's Son. Not much difference between their stats, but obviously I don't know how it all works. Wait. Here's Wormy. Shall I read Wormy? What dragon hath no lust for gold, would swipe instead the balls we bowled? O worm, take heed, thy wicked deed hath forced our summer leagues to fold. Who told you, rock-eaters, you could get drunk in my front yard? Well met, Saurian. Now wouldst thou be so benevolent as to tender yon bowling balls, or might I need lodgeth my trusty falchion in thy right ankle? You might just need it lodgeth up your nose. The only way you'll ever get them back is by foiling the dragon's conundrum. How now, O riddle wilt thou wager all 22 balls upon a mere puzzle? Ha! Methinks such folly shalt augur thy ruin. Prithee, riddler, proceed. Good old-fashioned English. Rather splendid. All right, Puff Puff. What wears chainmail, Puff, and looks like black pudding? Shoot. I don't know what. Squash dwarfs. Yeah, that's quite good. That is quite good. The comics are getting better. Good, nice to see Tramp doing some good stuff. Phineas Fingers, Fred and Charlie counterattack. Too much to read. But Phineas Fingers isn't too bad. NBC's The Hobbit. Nothing is more disheartening than to see someone spend a great amount of effort, time and money on a project only to do it wrong or badly. Sad to say that is just what happened with the Rankin Bass collaboration recently aired on NBC. First few minutes gave incredible promise. The art was beautiful and showed that the animators had spared no efforts in bringing fine art to adult cartoons for primetime consumption. It is too bad that a similar amount of effort didn't go into the story development or to verify authenticity. Oh, that's... You didn't like the late 70s version of The Hobbit. Okay. Hang on, who's writing this? Because Gygax... it's not Gygax. Gygax stated he didn't like Lord of the Rings and Tolkien's work in general. Who's TJK? TJK is the reviewer there. It's not Gygax. Tim Kask. So Tim Kask is a Tolkien fan. Good on you, Tim. The Westminster Wargaming Society, a game under the lights on Friday night. Wow, what a great idea. Fantasy miniatures played under black lights. Look at the way my dragon is glowing. Wait to see my elephant. I've lost my elves. You dope, you were supposed to use fluorescent paints. This is ridiculous. We can't even see the hit tables. What's a hit table? I like Tom Wham's cartoons in the Dungeon Master's Guide, but I don't get his sense of humour really here. And I'm not a fan of his spelling mistakes. Ridiculous. Elephant is PH. This is all ridiculous. Tom. Also been told that his name's pronounced Tom Wham. Not in England it wouldn't be. WHAM is Wham, not Wham. Anyway. You know what I'm like. Advert for the Monster Manual. There's the Carrion Crawler. Excellent. Good to see. $9.95. What's that in today's money? I remember it was about £7 or £8 here. Happy holidays from TSR Periodicals. Of course, it's this is the Christmas version. And I'm guessing all these people are that's going to be... One of these is going to be Gygax. One of these bearded fellas. Is he Gygax or is he Gygax? But I don't know. I don't think... Did Gygax smoke a pipe? I don't think he did. I think this one here must be Gygax. But I like that. That's nice. Is that a Trampier bit? Did Trampier do that? Yes, he did. Dave A. Trampier, bringing a touch of class to the dragon. Nice piece of art. Much better than the drivel on the cover. Oh, we have another game here. Snit's Revenge. More Snits. More silly daftness. I know some of you enjoyed these games. Lots of snit stuff. That's quite complicated. Look at all these. Yes, lots of rules. Snit's Revenge. The snits have got names. Prolobocinator, Phleotis, Forbocinator, Lepotum. Oh. Are they supposed to? They're supposed to be inside a body then, by the looks of things. Yeah. Okay. Well, this ends this flick through Dragon number 11. I think this was an interesting edition. I really would like to see adventures in Dragon. I think that's what it's lacking at the moment. But the bit on role playing, the interesting bit of insight into Gygax's thought processes regarding copyright and stuff like that. That's something I'm going to go back and read, and certainly having Fritz Leiber on board for the stories, and Wormy was good this month. So Trampier's getting his act together, getting the ball rolling. What else was there? Let's have a little look. Brawling, that method. I do wonder why they didn't keep it for basic D&D. So maybe there is a flaw in it that I didn't spot. Obviously, you've got to read through it and find all that out. But that looked, on the surface, more sensible than what AD&D came up with, because it was simple 2d6, and that's what you want, simple resolution. A few bits and pieces that I'm not interested in, but that's always going to happen. Quarterstaff fighting rules. It's a bit too simulationist, but I suppose this is where these sort of things are being tried out, though, isn't it? None of this is official. It gets tried out at people's gaming tables. It's all optional, and you can use what you want and discard what you don't want. And that is the point. And on that note, I'm going to say, see you for now. I'm on my holiday next week, so I'll be in a tent down in sunny Cornwall. I hope it's sunny. So there won't be any videos next week. I'm sorry. I'll be drinking cider and eating Cornish pasties. Till next time, I've been the Old Geek. See ya.